Most gardeners think dead soil takes months or even years to recover. That's simply not true. In one of my raised beds, I watched lifeless, compacted soil start showing signs of biological activity in less than 24 hours. The surprising part? It wasn't fertilizer that made the difference. It was fixing a mistake that most gardeners don't even realize they're making. The problem is that many people treat soil like a storage container instead of a living ecosystem. They keep adding nutrients while ignoring moisture balance, temperature, pH, and microbial conditions. The result is weak root systems, poor nutrient uptake, disappointing harvests, and soil that seems to get worse every season. One tool that helped me catch these problems much faster is a 4-in-1 soil moisture meter that measures moisture, pH, temperature, and sunlight levels. It's amazing how often a garden problem turns out to be something simple that isn't visible from the surface. I'll leave the exact one I use in the description if you want to check it out. What it revealed in one particular garden bed completely changed how I approached soil recovery. The soil looked fine from the top. There was mulch, organic matter, and decent drainage. But plants were stunted and growth had almost stopped. When I tested the bed, moisture levels were far lower than expected, just a few inches below the surface. The microbial life that should have been cycling nutrients simply wasn't active. Here's something many gardening channels get wrong. They tell you to feed the soil. That's only half the story. Soil biology needs food, moisture, oxygen, and proper temperature conditions. Remove one of those factors and the whole system slows down. So here's what I did. I watered deeply rather than lightly. The goal wasn't just wet soil. The goal was creating an environment where bacteria, fungi, and other beneficial organisms could become active again. Then I added about 1 inch of quality compost across the surface and covered it with mulch to reduce moisture loss. Within 24 hours, the difference was noticeable. Earthworms began appearing near the surface. The soil became easier to crumble by hand. Moisture levels stabilized. By the end of the week, plants that had been sitting still suddenly started putting on new growth. But moisture alone wasn't the secret. The next factor is something most gardeners never measure, and it quietly limits yields every season. Let's talk about soil pH, because this is where a lot of nutrients become unavailable even when they're present. I've seen gardeners add fertilizer after fertilizer while their plants continue struggling because the pH was preventing nutrient uptake. For most vegetables, a pH between 6.0 and 7.0 works well. Tomatoes, peppers, beans, lettuce, cucumbers, and many common crops perform best in that range. Once pH drifts too far outside those numbers, plants begin showing deficiency symptoms even when nutrients are sitting right there in the soil. In one backyard garden I worked on, the soil tested around 5.2. The gardener kept adding fertilizer but yields remained poor. A gradual pH correction over several months completely changed production. The plants weren't starving. They simply couldn't access what was already there. Now here's where things get even more interesting. Temperature affects soil life just as much as moisture. Beneficial microbes become far less active in cold soil. That's one reason plants often sit idle in early spring despite having plenty of nutrients available. I've measured raised beds that were nearly 10 degrees warmer than surrounding ground soil. Those warmer beds consistently showed faster root development and stronger early growth. This is especially important for tomatoes, peppers, and other warm season crops. Many gardeners focus entirely on what they add to soil. Experienced growers pay close attention to the conditions that allow soil biology to thrive. The same principle applies in hydroponics. People often think hydroponics eliminates soil problems. It doesn't. It simply shifts the focus. Root zone temperature, oxygen levels, and nutrient balance become the new biological environment. Whether you're growing in soil or water, healthy roots always depend on healthy conditions. One of the fastest ways to destroy living soil is constant disturbance. Every time you aggressively till, you break fungal networks that took months to establish. That's why I've moved toward minimal soil disturbance whenever possible. A layer of compost, organic mulch, and consistent moisture usually delivers better long-term results than repeated tilling and constant fertilizer applications. The soil begins building itself instead of relying on you to fix it every few weeks. And here's the lesson many gardeners overlook. Living soil doesn't suddenly appear because you added a product. It develops when the environment supports biological activity. Compost helps. Organic matter helps. Fertilizer has its place. but none of them can replace proper moisture, temperature, oxygen, and pH management. That's why some gardens produce incredible harvests year after year while others struggle despite receiving the same fertilizers. The difference isn't always what goes into the soil. Often it's understanding what the soil needs to stay alive. If you start paying attention to these hidden factors, you'll make better decisions, waste less money on unnecessary amendments, and build healthier gardens that become more productive every season. If you found this helpful, subscribe to Farmagic for more practical gardening lessons based on real-world results, not gardening myths. And share this video with another gardener who keeps fighting poor soil without knowing what's really causing the problem. The more you understand soil biology, root health, and how plants actually interact with their environment, the easier gardening becomes, and the better your harvests will be.